The judge's gavel sealed Helena's fate, her voice trembling in the face of injustice before everyone present. At that moment, the courtroom doors swung open and time stood still. Miguel entered not as a simple husband, but as a Supreme Court justice. His gaze, laden with immense authority, promised that true justice had only just begun. Helena Martinez sat straight back in the defendant's chair, her simple navy dress a stark contrast to the ornate courtroom surrounding her. At 34, her quiet dignity remained unshaken despite the weight of false accusations bearing down upon her shoulders. Judge William Crawford, known throughout legal circles for his merciless sentencing and political connections, peered down at her from his bench with thinly veiled contempt. Helena had only wanted to protect her community center from demolition, to preserve a safe haven for underprivileged children. She never imagined this would lead to fabricated evidence and obstruction charges. Miguel had been called away to Washington for an emergency session, promising to return in time. All rise. The bailiff's command echoed through the courtroom as Judge Crawford took his place. Case number 247B, the State versus Helena Martinez. Charges of obstruction of justice and tampering with government documents. The clerk announced. Miss Martinez, how do you plead? Not guilty, Your Honor, Helena replied, her voice quiet but unwavering. District Attorney Richard Von Rose. Your Honor, the state requests that bail be denied. Ms. Martinez has demonstrated a blatant disregard for the law and poses a flight risk. Helena's court-appointed attorney, Mark Simmons, a young lawyer clearly overwhelmed, fumbled with his papers. Your Honor, my client has deep roots in this community. She runs a children's center that serves over 200 families. Judge Crawford's lips curled into something predatory. Mr. Simmons, your client is accused of falsifying documents to prevent the lawful development of a property worth millions. The prosecution called Regina Parker, the city planning commissioner. Ms. Martinez repeatedly interfered with legal processes, Regina testified. When informed that the development had been approved, she submitted paperwork claiming the center was a historical landmark with signatures we later discovered were collected under false pretenses. Helena felt her face flush with indignation. Those signatures were genuine from residents whose families had used the center for generations. During a brief recess, a court reporter whispered nearby, "This is such a waste of time. Crawford already decided this case before it started. That development project is being financed by Crawford's brother-in-law." Helena's blood ran cold. She discreetly texted Miguel, "It's worse than we thought. Judge is compromised. Need you." Judge Crawford noticed the movement. Ms. Martinez, surrender your phone immediately. As the afternoon wore on, prosecution witness after witness delivered testimony that seemed rehearsed, too perfect. By 4 o'clock, Helena could see the jury's minds being poisoned against her. When Judge Crawford announced they would continue into the evening session, Helena knew he was rushing to a predetermined conclusion. Your Honor, she finally spoke up. I request a brief recess to consult with different counsel. Judge Crawford's eyes narrowed dangerously. Ms. Martinez, outbursts will not be tolerated. One more interruption, and I'll hold you in contempt. As the prosecution called their final witness, the courtroom doors at the back opened with a quiet click. The courtroom fell silent as Miguel Martinez moved with measured confidence down the center aisle. Recognition rippled through the gallery. Whispers erupted, followed by shocked glances between the prosecution team and Judge Crawford. Your Honor, Miguel spoke, his deep voice carrying throughout the room. I request permission to approach. Judge Crawford's face had drained of color. Justice Martinez, this is unexpected. Indeed, you are, William, Miguel replied, using the judge's first name with deliberate familiarity. Proceedings involving my wife. The gallery erupted in murmurs. The court will take a 30-minute recess, Judge Crawford announced abruptly. I believe 15 minutes will suffice, Miguel countered. And I'll require the use of your chambers. The balance of power had shifted visibly in Judge Crawford's chambers. The tension crackled. William, Miguel began. Perhaps you'd like to explain why my wife is being railroaded in your courtroom with manufactured evidence. Justice Martinez, I assure you, spare me. Miguel interrupted, placing a leather portfolio on the desk. This contains authenticated documentation proving the community center's historical status, affidavits from residents confirming Helena's ethical collection of signatures, and financial records linking you to Meridian Development through your brother-in-law's holding company. Crawford's face drained of color. That's preposterous, is it? The Judicial Ethics Committee doesn't think so. You have a choice, William. Recuse yourself immediately, citing a previously undisclosed conflict of interest, or these documents will be on the Chief Justice's desk tomorrow morning. District Attorney Vaughn entered. I thought we might discuss a potential resolution. Mr. Vaughn, Miguel acknowledged him. Excellent timing. We were just discussing the prosecution's failure to disclose exculpatory evidence. The email from the City Planning Office confirming the authenticity of those historical documents. The email your office received but mysteriously never provided to the defense has already been forwarded to the State Bar Association's Ethics Committee. Here's what happens next, Miguel stated. Judge Crawford, you will recuse yourself. Mr. Vaughn, you will file a motion to dismiss all charges with prejudice. And if we refuse, Vaughn asked, then I make a single phone call. And by morning, this case becomes a national example of judicial corruption. Either way, my wife walks out of this courthouse today a free woman. Judge Crawford slumped in his chair. I'll prepare the recusal immediately. As will I, Vaughn added quickly. Prepare the motion to dismiss. Miguel turned to Helena. Ready to go home? The courtroom fell silent as they emerged. This court is adjourned, Crawford announced. All charges against the defendant are dismissed with prejudice. As they walked down the courthouse steps together, Helena squeezed Miguel's hand. Justice looks different from this side, she whispered. That evening, they shared a quiet dinner in their modest suburban home. I never wanted to use your position that way, Helena said softly. Miguel reached across the table. What happened today wasn't about my position, Helena. It was about exposing truth in a system designed to bury it. You fought for those families the right way. They were the ones who broke the rules, not you. Tomorrow, I'll go back to the center and tell everyone it's safe, she said, a smile finally warming her features. And you'll go back to Washington to continue your own fight. Miguel squeezed her hand. Different battlegrounds, same war. Their quiet moment embodied what both had always believed, that true justice wasn't found in courtroom victories or powerful connections, but in the dignity of standing for what was right, regardless of cost.